What is up, everyone? Piezilla57 here, back with another episode of the Project Platinum podcast. So, in this episode, myself and two of my guests that I'll introduce shortly, we're going to talk about 2018, a year in review. So, we're just going to kind of go over some of our favorite games of the year and how we thought the year was for gaming as a whole. So, as my guest, I have Mr. Young Prodigy 181, aka Jayson.
What is going on, everybody?
McD's Nuts 7295, aka Connor.
Hi.
All right. So thank you guys for joining me. This is both of your first time on the podcast. So thank you for joining me.
No problem, man.
So yeah, it should be a pretty good episode. Talk about video games, talk about games that came out in 2018, stuff like that. And it'll also be pretty interesting because, as I mentioned, we'll talk about some of our favorite games of the year. And you guys both like, for the most part, you guys both like games, different types of games than I enjoy. So should make for some good conversation.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, we like the same style of games, but different objective-based games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
We go for different things in games, put it like that.
Yeah, so should make for some good conversation, hopefully.
Hopefully.
It shall.
So let's see. Games that came out in this year, we have
Monster Hunter World.
some of the big ones. We have Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, Far Cry 5, Battlefield 5, Detroit Become Human, Black Ops 4, Monster Hunter World, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So we've had some, I'm sure there are others that I'm missing, but yeah, there's some big games that came out this year. I know some of the big games did not earn any awards at the Game Awards. Like Spider-Man, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, both did not win a single award at the Game Awards. And
I know, right?
yeah,
It's
with
messed up.
I know with other years, if they were released, they probably either one of them probably could have won. So I know
both of them probably would have won. Perfect.
All right, so we'll talk. Okay, so let's compare 2017 to 2018 first. So I know a lot of people say 2018 was the best year for gaming. It was their favorite year of gaming, especially compared to 2017 and years before that. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts. Did you think 2018 was better than 2017?
Well, honestly, it just depends on like what perspective or like what you want out of a game. Like for you, a trophy hunter, and then me just like playing games. It just all depends on what you want. I think 2018 was a pretty good year for games.
So when you're just looking at it, like just in terms of the games they release and the quality of the complete game, so like the gameplay, the story, and stuff like that, you think 2018 was a better year for the quality of the games that released compared to 2017?
I think it's kind of even actually. Honestly, I don't think 2018 was like the best year for gaming, but I think it's definitely on par with some of the other years games been released.
All right, Connor, what do you think?
My opinion isn't really valid for this question because, as both of you guys know, like I didn't really start playing games excessively until this year, around summertime.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to have trash internet.
So for someone who did not play many games from last year and that started really playing this year, were you impressed with 2018 and the games that released?
For the most part, yeah.
All right. So, okay, well that's good. So for me, I do think the year was pretty good with the games that were released. I know personally I liked 2017 better. 2017 had some really great games, obviously. Some of my favorites from last year were Resident Evil 7, because I'm a big survival horror type guy. I really enjoyed the genre. Horizon Zero Dawn released in, I think it was March of last year. Really enjoyed that game. And then my favorite game from last year is Wolfenstein 2. So yeah, so I think for me personally, I think 2017 was better, and more or less I wasn't as impressed with 2018, especially when people say, "Oh, it's such an amazing year for games, it's the best year ever, blah blah blah." And part of the reason is I personally think, I know it's a very unpopular opinion, but I personally think God of War was extremely overrated. I was not a big fan of that game, and I know I'm definitely in the minority there saying that. I just was not super impressed with God of War. I mean, visually, graphically, it looked great, but the story, I felt like the story was very lacking, and I know that's what they tried to focus on. The combat, to me, it wasn't like clunky, but it was just slow and boring, and a lot of times the game just felt like a walking simulator. So, have either of you guys either read or watched the book/movie The Road?
The Road? No. I don't read a lot of books.
Yeah, I had to read it for school way back in the day, but that's exactly what the game made me think of, was the book The Road. So like you kind of have to, it's like you start out, you have to go from point A to point B. So while you're on your way, like there's some kind of like roadblock or something that's preventing you from going forward. So you have to backtrack a whole bunch to do something before you can move forward. So then you finally move forward. So then you're going from point B to C, and then there's another thing preventing you from going forward. So then you have to backtrack even more. So I just felt like there was no real flow in the entire game.
I mean, I've never been a big fan of God of War, so I wasn't like as hyped to play it when it came out. I think I borrowed it from a friend and played a little bit of it, but I agree with what you're saying.
I think the last time I played God of War before it came out was God of War 2.
Yeah, this was the first God of War game I've played personally. So I don't know if that contributes to it or not. I know this is more of like a reboot remake of the series, so it doesn't follow like 100% the storyline of the other games. From what I've heard, it's playing the other games would just give me an idea of some of the lore behind God of War. So I don't think the experience would have been enhanced super much by playing the other games, but it could play a small role in me not enjoying that game too much.
Yeah, probably. But then again, you know what games you like, that you're gonna like, and what games you're not gonna like. So
Yeah. So I think I'll enjoy the older games more. I'm planning on going and playing back through them because I now own them all from buying them in sales and stuff like that. But I know the big part is the combat in the older games. That's what the God of War games were mainly known for, was for the combat and very fast and fun combat. And in the new one, they made it a lot like slower and almost similar to Dark Souls, where the combat is slower and you're dodging a lot more and stuff like that. And I'd never been a big Souls Bloodborne person, so I think that's also one of the reasons I was not a big fan of the combat. And then another big game that came out this year that I wasn't nearly as hyped for as everyone else was Red Dead Redemption 2. Have either of you played the first Red Dead?
no.
All right. Well, I know you guys both enjoy GTA 5 Online, and I know that's a big thing that's different to me because I hated GTA 5 Online. I didn't think it's a good mode at all. I did not think it should have been included. And I feel that way about Red Dead Online as well. So all I've done from the first Red Dead is just doing all of the online multiplayer stuff. I haven't actually delved into the story quite yet, but I know Red Dead Online on the first game was super hot garbage. So I know I don't have too high expectations for the online, especially for Red Dead 2, especially with how Rockstar handled shark cards and microtransactions in GTA 5 Online. They like to go ahead.
And it's like on GTA they made it like where you don't have, there's no grind for it. Like when I first got GTA when it first came out, you had to grind to get to the money, to the biggest apartment or the biggest house. A grind to get the fastest car. But now, I mean, even back then they still had shark cars, but it's like most people they love the grind to do it. I still do, but it's just they make it too easy just to go. You want this car? Okay, we'll just go buy a $20 shark card. Or for Christmas, ask for a $50 gift card so you can buy a $50 shark card. They don't make it like to get like they don't make the grind worthy. Like honestly, I think GTA is a really fun game. It's just that aspect of it is absolutely trash.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was just about to talk about. But yeah, that's what I was going to mention. And it seems to be a big problem with microtransactions in general nowadays. The game developers, they like to make their game overly grindy, so it feels like you're almost forced to buy these shark cards or these XP boosters just to speed it up, when just to begin with they should make it where you can spend a normal amount of time and then already be able to buy whatever you want in the game. But GTA 5 Online is with Rockstar. They're a big culprit of that. Like you said, Jayson, they just overinflate everything where it feels almost impossible, or it'll take an obscene amount of time to be able to grind just to buy one thing, whereas that was not always the case.
Honestly, it they just make it way too like impossible. Like say for instance, you want the fastest car in the game. I forgot what it is now. I mean, it's like $2 million or something like
I
that.
think they're more than 2 million.
Like even like
Oops, like 4
it's
million and shit.
yeah. I mean, they're really getting up there. I mean, it makes it impossible. Okay, for another instance, like the yacht. Yacht's what like $5 million, like the lowest one. I think the highest one's like 8 million. I mean, ain't nobody gonna grind out $8 million. I mean, you can, but it just takes way too long.
Yeah, they really did that. Like, if you do a mission and you come in first place, you get about $8,000. That's for a good 30-minute thing. The only way
Exactly.
you're gonna get that money is if you glitch out the heist and do all that really special shit.
Yeah. If you do the pack standard heist, I mean, yeah, you get what like 300,000 if you split it evenly, and that's assuming that you get somebody that's wants to split it evenly. It makes it too impossible.
Yeah, and with the heist, it's not like you can just set up and do the heist in a short amount of time. Like, they're pretty challenging. You'll die a few times, and you're spending a decent amount of time. So it's just the hours you're putting into the money output you get is just the ratio is not what it should be.
At all.
With the new DLC heists and shit, you get a better payout somewhat.
But it still takes a whole lot of time.
It still doesn't cancel out that gap.
I mean, like the Doomsday heist, me and Greg did all 3 acts, all the setups, and it took us like a whole day to do all of them. And that's with us like trying not to die, refilling our ammo, refilling our body armor, doing everything to the teeth. And it still took us like all night, It took us like 8 hours to do all 3 of them.
You probably made like 2 million.
I mean, no, I mean it was at the end of it we made like 3 million a piece. But
Which is
yeah.
it's really just one
It still doesn't seem
high-class
like
purchase.
it still
Like,
doesn't
you
sound
need
like
to buy
that
a
much
house,
compared to
a
how much
car,
work is.
apartment, or some shit. Like you can, or if you want to split it with the cheaper stuff, like it still doesn't really add up.
No, they definitely should have made it to where like if you spend all that time, you're gonna get a big ass payout. I mean, yeah, you can glitch out the heist and do it, but I'm talking about if you're just regularly grinding out and trying to grind out money, it's way too impossible just to grind out. Like if you're trying to grind out a baseline of like $10 million, this is gonna take you forever. Honestly, it's gonna take you a long time. You have to be dedicated to doing that.
Yep, and that's why they make so many shark cards, because especially since it seems like GTA Online, I mean, I could be wrong since I've barely played it to begin with and it's been a long time. It seems like it's a younger population, more or less, that plays GTA Online, and they're definitely like more gullible, more prone to just be like,
Honestly.
yeah, I'll just spend $20 on a shark card. It's no big deal. Whereas they're just helping perpetuate this terrible idea of microtransactions that we can't seem to get rid of nowadays. It seems like most of the time nowadays, it's people value their time more than their money almost. Like nowadays, a lot of people, like you'll have a job, they can make money, but they don't have as much time to game. And when they do play video games, they're not going to want to spend an obnoxious amount of time just grinding to get money for one thing.
Exactly.
So they're like, oh, I'll just go ahead and spend $20, $50 on a shark card or whatever. So, and it's obviously Rockstar's fault for overinflating everything to make it where people have that idea.
And then they give like the little discounts, like you buy a great white shark card, you get like half back, or you buy like the biggest shark card and you get like 100% back or like 50% back. It's like stuff like that. It's like, oh well, I mean, yeah, sure, and it just messes everything up, man.
Trying to make you think that you're getting a good deal when the whole concept shouldn't even be a thing in the first place.
Exactly.
So it's kind of a tangent, but that was interesting to talk about. But that whole reason is one main reason I have just not looked forward to Red Dead 2. So when I was doing Red Dead Online in the first game, I don't think there were microtransactions in the shark card equivalents in Red Dead. I think that all started with GTA 5 Online. But with so much money as Rockstar has made on shark cards, you're going to believe that they're at. Oh, yeah.
They're gonna keep on doing it, yeah. Definitely. I mean, it's a smart business strategy because you got all these little kids who are getting the game for like maybe the first time, or all the new DLCs coming out. Because that's the only time I really played GTA is when like the new DLCs come out or like a new car comes out, so I can get it, buy it, see how it is, and I don't touch the game. But I mean, you got all these little kids coming out, and they're like, I don't have anything, I'm starting at the bottom, so I just get my mom's debit card, get my mom's credit card, or use my Christmas money and buy whatever they want.
Yep.
And it's just messed up. I also think that like kids that young shouldn't be playing GTA. That's just a personal opinion. Because I mean, like you don't want like a little 10, 11, 12-year-old kid driving down the street just shooting people. Personal opinion. It might not be that popular, but I mean, that's just what I think.
And then there's the adults that play the game, like grown-ass people that like sit there. A kid will kill him once, he'll just pull the shit out of that kid. Like, because the kid will just have started playing GTA, and he'll be like, "Oh, this game's so cool," and
then you get into people who are like outrageous amount of levels, like just killing you for no reason. It's messed up, honestly.
Yeah, that's another thing. So, because with GTA Online, you can turn on safe mode or whatever, right? So random players can't come up and just kill you.
Yeah.
So, as far as I know, that is not an option in Red Dead Online, which is stupid because, like as you mentioned, there are some people who they like to go in public lobbies and literally all they do is they just go around and kill people. And as a trophy hunter, if I were to get, well, I did get Red Dead 2 for Christmas. So we'll see if I do ever end up getting around to it. But if I do, I'll have to play the online mode. And if I were to do that, I would just be trying to get it done as quickly as possible to try to get the trophies and stuff like that. And it'll be annoying because I'm sure as I'm trying to do that, people are just going to randomly kill me.
Yeah. People in like the GTA community are really cancerous too, because like you'll be doing like just whatever, GTA Online, going to the clothes store, getting a tattoo or whatever. It doesn't matter. But and the most, especially like customizing your car, and then you got some 15-year-old kid flying in on like a $3 million jet, blowing you up a whole bunch of times, and then talking trash to you, sending messages to you. You're just like, man, I ain't trying to do all that. I'm just trying to play a game, bro.
Exactly.
That's why I don't play the game that much. It's fun, I mean, but damn, it ain't that fun to waste my sanity on it.
Yeah, a lot of those reasons are a big reason I don't like GTA Online. But then also, personally, I just don't think that there's really that much to do at all. Even if GTA Online were better in the terms of fair prices and a lot less grind, I still probably wouldn't enjoy it because I don't think there's all that much to do in the game, and I just found it boring. It's a cool concept, and it could have been a lot of fun, and it really ended up being really good, but I just don't think they handled it very well at all in many aspects.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I will say, like, in terms of like the single player story stuff, I do think I will enjoy the Red Dead more than GTA in terms of like the more whole Western setting thing. So I think that will be pretty cool. But overall, I just find it very annoying how everyone seems to suck Rockstar's dick. They come out with a new game, they'd automatically get praises. People are like, "Oh my god, Rockstar came out with a new game, 10 out of 10."
Honestly.
Yet, Rockstar's like, from what I haven't played it all yet, but from what I've heard and stuff like and seen, the controls in Red Dead 2 are still complete shit, just like they were in GTA. I just don't know why they have all this money and they're still making games with completely shitty controls.
Honestly, I mean the controls, they're just sometimes they're complicated. I mean, like in GTA 5, the weapon wheel and stuff like that, it's complicated. It makes it way too difficult. Honestly, I mean, it's just
Yeah, because it was just a few months ago that I was doing the Red Dead 1 online and multiplayer trophies, and trying to do anything that game was such a hassle because the controls are so terrible. You have to continuously tap X and break your controller to sprint. Like, it's like then they also. So I just don't know why everyone puts Rockstar on a pedestal when their games aren't that great to begin with, and then when you couple that with their completely shitty and outdated controls for a 2018 Game of the Year contender, for me, I don't understand.
honestly. But I think they could do really well is if they make like an open world GTA style zombie game. I would play the hell out of that. I know there are a lot of them like PC, but there's none on console.
Right.
So I think they should do that. If they could do that and like absolutely not mess it up, I'd spend money on it. So Rockstar, get at me. You know what I'm saying? Get at me. I want to get paid for it.
Yeah, I know on the first Red Dead, another thing, the first Red Dead, there's that Undead Nightmares DLC, which again, people put that DLC on a pedestal. They say it's some of the best DLC ever. And I recently played the DLC and it was not good at all. Like, I don't understand why people think the Undead Nightmares DLC was good at all. Like, I played it and I had a miserable time with it. It was just the same thing over and over. You just go to a settlement, you kill all the zombies that cleared out, you talk to someone, like, "Oh, I'm missing a family member. Can you go find them?" You're like, "Yeah, sure." You go find them. They're already turned into a zombie. You have to kill them. You'll go back to the person. Be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I found them, but I had to shoot them because they're a zombie now." And that was literally the entire DLC. And people put this DLC on a pedestal for whatever reason.
I never ended up playing it. I never played Red Dead at all, so I never played it.
It had potential with the whole setting and stuff like that, but I just think there are a lot of things wrong with the first Red Dead, and I'm sure there are a lot of things wrong with the second Red Dead, despite what the majority of people are going to say. But maybe Red Dead 2 will surprise me. I'm sure I'll have a miserable time with the online, but single player story wise, maybe it'll surprise me. Maybe I'll enjoy it more than I'm anticipating. But as of right now, I'm not expecting it to be nearly as amazing as everyone else has said it to be.
Yeah, I've seen some highlights of people playing, and I think I mean, I think it'll be pretty fun. I just never been a big fan of it, so I wasn't like happy to get it or excited to get it or nothing like that.
Right. So going back to my reason why I thought 2017 was better than 2018, about 20 minutes later, but I think it made for good conversation. So I guess now we can go through and talk about our top 3 games of the year for each of us. So we'll start with our favorite game in the number 3 spots, our third favorite game of the year. Jayson, what is yours?
Probably Battlefield 5, and it was hard because I like Battlefield 5 is really fun. Honestly, and it's crazy. I just got it for Christmas, and it's like it's already taken over. But I've always liked the Battlefield games, so I played Battlefield 4, I played Battlefield 3, Battlefield 1, but I think probably Battlefield 5 just because my other 2 games I like probably my favorite ones for the year. So.
And have you done any of the single player stuff
Nah,
in Battlefield? Okay.
Last time I played a Battlefield single player was Battlefield 3. That's because I didn't have the online for it. But no, I haven't done any of the single player stuff.
So I know I have not played Battlefield 5 at all, and I'm very reluctant to because I played Battlefield 1 earlier in 2018, and that was probably my first Battlefield game I've played. I think I may have played a couple hours of like Bad Company 2 on the 360 way back when. But Battlefield 1 was more or less the very first, I'd say is probably the first Battlefield game that I've actually put considerable time to actually say I played it and form an opinion about it. And I know I was not impressed with it. It was probably my least favorite game I've played in 2017. I did not like the multiplayer at all. I like what they did with the war stories and having like short mini campaigns. But I know in at least Battlefield 1, I don't think it really flowed all that well and it was kind of hard to follow and stay engaged. So that's why I'm a little reluctant to play Battlefield 5. I heard that, like, at least online wise, it has improved since Battlefield 1, which you would hope since it's a newer game.
It has, honestly. But my thing was with Battlefield 1 is that it was just too, like, not old, but like it was based too old. Like, it was based on what World War One.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like it. I don't like older games, like games based in older times like that. Like Call of Duty World War II. That was pretty fun, but it was just the guns are just not as good and stuff like that. I can't get along with it, me personally.
Yeah. And like I don't mind the World War One setting in general, but I think for the online where they base like all the weapons and stuff on it, which I mean they should do for at least trying to keep somewhat historically accurate. But I think it just didn't work very well because I didn't like any of the guns or any of the maps that they had in the game. So I think that was one of my problems. Because I bought that game with Titanfall 2 in a bundle earlier in 2018 because I knew Greg had Battlefield 1. So I'm like, okay, I can go ahead and play with him. And he just asked me one day, he's like, so I remember telling him that when I bought it, and he's like, okay, cool, I'll have to reinstall it. And then one time he's like, oh, do you want to play Battlefield 1? It's like, sure, why not? And that was a bad idea. Little did I know at the time, because he enjoyed the game and he said good things about it. So I'm like, well, should be all right fun then.
He has a different taste in video games, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever Greg says is kind of hard to believe. Greg has kind of a.
In general, I'm not a huge like online multiplayer fan, especially with shooters. Like I don't play that much Call of Duty and stuff like that. But when I do, like it could be pretty fun. Like I bought World War II and more or less enjoyed the online for that game. So I figured I knew like trophy wise, Battlefield 1 wasn't that hard online. So I figured it'd be decent fun just playing through the online, just playing through it naturally. But I had a lot worse time with that game than I was expecting. And I know because you're a Battle Royale fan, and Battlefield 5 next month they're coming out with their Battle Royale game mode for that game. So
Yeah, I won't even be here.
Oh, that's right. You'll be gone. Be interesting to see how they handle that battle royale mode, because releasing it months after the actual game releases.
I don't see how they're gonna do it, honestly, because Battlefield. I feel like Battlefield has been known for its abnormally big maps. I mean, even in Battlefield 4, I mean, like Shanghai or all those other maps on there were just like huge. I don't. And I think Shanghai is probably one of the smallest maps too. But I don't see. I personally see how they're gonna do it. But I mean, it's something for I can to watch for.
It'll be interesting. Like, I'm not a huge battle royale fan, so like I'm not really excited and looking forward to it. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with it, and if they make anything different, how they make things different compared to other battle royale games, especially since they released the main game months before and have spent the last few months just working on the battle royale mode.
Yeah, I mean, from as much work as they're putting in for it, I mean, it might have some type of potential, but I don't see how I personally don't see how they're gonna do it, just because of the way Battlefield has always been, been as a game.
Right. And Connor, you have Battlefield 5 also, right? You ended up getting it.
I still haven't gotten it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been pushed back a couple times. I'm trying to get it before Jayson ships out. Pretty much it.
Gotcha.
You got 29 more days, homie.
Counting down. So, all right. So, Connor, what was your third favorite game of the year?
Honestly, I'd have to say Black Ops 4 because I just felt like it was really underwhelming, but still a good game, and the mechanics and shit. I feel like when it first came out, I was expecting it to be Black Ops, but then I played Blackout, and the zombies mode kind of sucked. Multiplayer in Blackout, I don't know how to criticize a game.
So, Black Ops 4 is another game that I have not played at all from this year. So, I don't have much to say. But I know, Jayson, you have also played, and you guys have played the game a lot together. So,
Yeah, I think I like Black Ops. I mean, I think Black Ops is Black Ops 4. I was a little disappointed that it wasn't coming with a story mode, because that's one of the reasons why I got the Black Ops 1, because of the story mode, because I saw it was gonna be pretty cool. I wanted to go on with the storyline of Mason and them, but I was a little disappointed in that. But when I saw like the Blackout and I started playing it, yeah, it's really fun. I can sit there and play it for solid hours. I can sit down on a grind with it, and just play it for a long time. Like the recent double XP weekend, I think I probably put in like 30 hours or something like that. It was a solid grind.
yeah. So, I feel like I'm one of the few people who gets Call of Duty for the single player content. So the fact that Black Ops 4 does not have any single player, like, I know they're trying to add and weave in story elements into the online modes.
Sort of like Rainbow Siege with the operators.
Pretty much, yeah. But even like less, it's like less than that. Like it had all the specialists. You're starting to see the backstory on them, and I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of like a mini little story. It shows how like uh Alex Mason's like granddaughter got her other granddaughter almost killed, and then it's or daughter or one of the two. And it's kind of cool how they're doing it, but it's like I was hoping for a traditional story, maybe even a traditional story with the specialists if you play multiplayer. I don't know. I just wanted a story with it just so it could continue on, because it's pretty
Right.
cool. I honestly like the storyline.
Like, I all I knew is they were just going to try and weave in elements. I didn't know how they were doing, but it sounds like they may have done a somewhat decent job of doing what they could without having a story mode.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I sit there, I played through all, because you had to go through and play the specialists, and it's probably pretty much like practice. You learn how to play with them and stuff like that. And I think it's pretty cool how they did it. It's kind of like each specialist you do, you get like another piece of the puzzle. So it's pretty cool. But I just was really wanting a traditional story mode along with Blackout, multiplayer, and zombies. But it's what it is.
Right. And I'm not a big fan of zombies at all.
I have yet to touch Black Ops 4 Zombies, so I can't even.
So that's probably the main reason I have not got Black Ops 4. Like surprisingly enough, if it was just Blackout and just the multiplayer, then I would possibly get it when it was on sale. But the fact that there's zombies, it's centered around zombies, and Activision likes to throw out $50 season passes to only add 4 zombie maps, which should be included as free content. I just can't really get behind that because I know like trophy wise, most of it is related to zombies, and I just don't enjoy zombies. I don't see how other people can. I don't want to try and figure out some fucking puzzle as I'm killing zombies.
Exactly. Like I said, I've yet to touch Zombies mode at all. Like I haven't played a single match of it. It's just not interesting. I played Black Ops 3 Zombies was fun. Black Ops 3 when Shadows of Evil, it was really fun. I could do the whole puzzle in like 5 minutes. And then Black Ops 2 Zombies was pretty fun too. Green Run or Transit, whatever it's called. But I've yet to touch Black Ops 4. It just wasn't. It's not interesting to me. I probably would never touch it, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I prefer the more Killing Floor 2 type zombies where you just have these different guns and get to upgrade them and just mindlessly kill zombies. I don't want to have to. Because I remember I had someone trying to help me with the easy Easter egg in the World War II zombies. And it was me and 2 other guys. They both knew what they were doing. I didn't really know what I was doing. So I was just kind of the person to aggro all the zombies. So when it started, all I'm doing, like I knew they were going to do mainly the puzzles and stuff like that. So I was like, all right. So I was just running around and just trying to just kill all the zombies when I could. And they were yelling at me. They're like, don't kill the zombies. Like, you just have to leave one left and then don't kill them. You just run around and aggro them and just keep them alive to prevent the rounds from going up and there being more zombies. And I was like, oh, how am I supposed to know? When I think of zombies mode, I just get in and just kill zombies as many zombies as quickly as possible. So just not a big fan of throwing in all these puzzles when that's not what I want to do and not what should be done in a zombies game mode, in my opinion.
And then World War II Zombies, like the Easter eggs and stuff, was so confusing. To me, they were. Like, I tried to do them. I played World War II Zombies a good amount, but it was just so confusing.
Yeah, but I know, Connor, you like zombies. You've played a little bit of Black Ops 4 Zombies, right?
I don't really play zombies for the Easter thing. Usually when I end up playing zombie, I just go to town.
Gotcha. Yeah. I just don't find any enjoyment going for these complicated puzzle Easter eggs when I'm trying to kill zombies.
I completely agree.
So for my third favorite game of the year, so I haven't played either Battlefield 5 or Black Ops 4, and I don't think either of you guys have played my third favorite game of the year, which is Detroit Become Human.
I want to. I just haven't gotten around to it.
I remember we were at Greg's grad.
Yeah, I remember you watching me a little bit. So, Detroit Become Human is the newest Quantic Dream game, and it's basically just an interactive experience. Part of it is like it's kind of like a walking simulator, so there's not too much gameplay, but the story was fantastic. There's a whole bunch of different branching paths. The choices and actions you do in the game affect the outcome later on. And I know there are some games who claim they do that, but it seems like no matter what your choices and actions are, like everything ends up being the same. That's definitely not the case in Detroit Become Human. So Detroit Become Human, like Quantic Dream, they also developed Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain. And I had played neither of those, so Detroit Become Human was my first Quantic Dream game. So I didn't have like anything to compare it to really, but I had some extra PSN credit and I heard it seemed really interesting. The premise behind it sounded cool, so I decided to give it a chance. And it was a little bit slow. Like when I first played it, when I went to Greg's house for the grad party, And we joked, he was watching me play at the beginning, and we joked about how it's kind of like a housewife simulator, because at the beginning you play as a female character and you're just going around the house cleaning up and doing dishes. But that was only like a very small part, but we still joked that it's like the housewife simulator. But no, the game was really good. It was super engaging, emotional. There's 3 different characters that you follow the storyline of. So overall, that's how storytelling should be. Brian Deckard, who is the voice actor for Connor, he did an amazing job, and I'm really disappointed he did not win Best Voice Actor of the Year at the Game Awards.
Wait, who won? I didn't watch that part.
I think it was the guy who played Arthur Morgan in Red Dead 2.
Oh, okay. Well,
But so yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that.
no, I haven't even played it, so I ain't gotta.
Yeah. So then I guess Jayson will go back to you, and what your second favorite game of the year is.
My second favorite game is Black Ops 4.
Oh, all right.
Like, yeah, we gotta talk about that, but just
Yeah, I think we all have the same first favorite. It was a tough call between my first and second, but I think I'm with you guys. So
yeah, I know what our first favorite game is.
I think
So
we
I
all
guess
know what our
there's-
first favorite game is.
I guess there's not much else to add for Black Ops 4. We kind of exhausted that, I think.
Yeah,
So that's your
just
second
that,
favorite game.
just that anybody who thinks they're a sniper, get on with me. I'll show you that you're not.
Sounds like a challenge to all of our viewers.
Honestly, you know what I'm saying? You can add me young_prodigy 181. I'll show you how bad you are. Just a healthy dose of narcissism to start your day off.
All right, we'll see if Jayson gets any challenges. All right, so back to Connor for your second favorite game of the year, your runner-up.
Far Cry 5.
Okay, so I've played that game. Jayson, I don't think you haven't played that, have you?
No, you guys wanted me to get it, but I didn't want to buy it.
So yeah, go ahead, Connor. Go ahead. And what do you like about it? Why is it your second favorite game of the year?
I like the story mode.
Well said.
I mean, I like the way that they did it and how they split it up. I don't know. I've only played Far Cry 4 barely on my PS3.
Okay.
So I don't know how they did other shit, but I definitely like the way that they split up the. I like the way that they split up the objectives and the people that you can take out, how you can switch, and it's not as linear as most storylines. Also, shit goes boom.
There are a lot of explosions in that game. A lot of different ways to explode things, as we found out a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
When we spent like 3 hours just going around destroying shit.
Wasn't Far Cry 5 the game that you spent like 5 hours on that one zombie map trying to zombie thing?
Yeah, that was the DLC though. So yeah, Connor, I'm with you. I enjoyed Far Cry 5 a lot. The story was good. It was a lot of fun. Compared to Far Cry 4, at least the one you've played, I think it is better than that. I personally don't think it's as good as Far Cry 3. I think myself and a lot of other people kind of consider that the pinnacle of the Far Cry series. I was not a big fan with the protagonist in Far Cry 5. He didn't have a name. He just went by, like, everyone just called him Deputy or whatever.
Rook.
He never talked. Rook, yeah, that's what it is.
Plate carrier.
Yeah, he never talks. So it just felt a little disconnected.
Hasn't it been that way with most of the Far Cry games, though?
No. Far Cry 3, I just played through that one most recently. No, he talks and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure the main character does in Far Cry 4 as well. It's been a little bit longer since I played that one, so I don't remember super clearly. But I just felt a little bit more like connected with the main characters from 3 and 4 compared to 5.
What's another game where it's like a first person shooter where your character just doesn't?
What's another one that's like that? Can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know. So Far Cry 5 also had this arcade mode, which is the online multiplayer. It was complete shit. I don't know why. I guess just because it's Ubisoft, they felt like they had to tack on some kind of online mode But the concept was kind of cool because pretty much anyone can go and make their own map and publish it for others to play. But they could have changed this. I haven't played the arcade mode since when it had just released, basically back in March and April. But there were just no good ways to filter through things, stuff like that. So the online arcade mode just ended up not being very good. I don't know. Connor, have you played the arcade mode yet at all?
No, I don't care for Ubisoft multiplayer unless it's Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So, and then also the DLC for Far Cry 5 was super hot garbage and probably the worst DLC I've ever played. So that's like the prime example of a company haphazardly developing super shitty short DLC. They put no time or effort into it. They just kind of put it together just so they could sell it in an overpriced $30 season pass. So it was not good. The DLC was not good at all. I do not recommend anyone playing the DLC unless you're a completionist or you're trying to get like a series completion in Far Cry series. But if you are just wanting to casually try the DLC because you're interested, I do not recommend it. None of them were that good.
Well said.
So, Connor, is there anything else you have to add to Far Cry 5?
Shit goes boom.
Well said. So my runner-up for my favorite game of the year. Neither of you guys have played this game.
Shadow
I know,
of the
Connor, you
Tomb
played the
Raider.
first one a little bit. No, not Shadow of the Tomb. Hitman 2.
Oh yeah, I had a feeling it was Hitman too. I'm actually thinking about buying it when I get.
Yeah. So, what about Hitman 1, Jayson?
I played Hitman 1.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
I played Hitman 1. It was pretty fun. When it was free for the game of the month, I downloaded it, and then I played like the whole prologue.
So that wasn't for game of the month. The prologue, like the training, is always free.
Oh, for real?
In Hitman, it's always been free. It's free for Hitman 2 as well, even though the prologue training in Hitman 2 is the exact same as Hitman 1.
I feel like from watching gameplay of Hitman 2, it's just Hitman 1 remastered with new maps.
More or less it is. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but I know they did add some new mechanics and stuff like that, but more or less the gameplay does play almost the exact same as Hitman 1 with just different episodes, different maps. And I think the maps that they used were all phenomenal. And I think overall they were better than the maps in Hitman 1. And yeah, so I bought the gold edition for Hitman 2 on Black Friday. Because I know what the first Hitman game, this is me speaking from like a trophy standpoint right now. But I know what the first Hitman, so you had like all the base episodes that were added as DLC, and then they added like bonus episodes and stuff like that. And if you had if you just had the base game of Hitman 1, you didn't have access to those, and you couldn't just buy these episodes off the store like you can with pretty much any other game. You had to buy these like different upgrade passes, and it was annoying. So like I bought the main base game of Hitman 1, and then when I found out that I couldn't really get the bonus episodes that I needed, at least easily, like I returned that game and just bought a new copy of the definitive edition that had all the DLC. And so I didn't want there to be a similar situation with Hitman 2, so I went ahead and just paid the extra $40 or whatever to upgrade to the gold edition, so that way when they do add more content, I don't have to worry about any upgrade packs or anything. I'll just be able to just download it straight off the store and I'll be good to go. But no, gameplay wise, Hitman 2 is fantastic. I know I feel like it was a little underrated this year. It seems like a lot of people passed on it. I don't know exactly why, but I know the stealth genre is a little niche, and it's definitely not for everyone because the gameplay is much slower. But if you do like the stealth genre, then I highly recommend Hitman 2. I know base game, it's already been on sale a few times for $30, and you can't if you haven't played Hitman 1, then they remastered all of the Hitman 1 episodes with the new Hitman 2 mechanics and added in the game, so you can buy Hitman 2 you have to pay, I think, like $20, $10 or $20 to upgrade to the legacy packs. But then if you do that, you'll be able to play all the Hitman 1 levels plus the bonus content and all the Hitman 2 levels all on Hitman 2 application, which is nice for people who are new to the series or who never played the first one. But if you like stealth, the gameplay is really good and it's a very well done game. So, as we kind of alluded to, seems that we all of our favorite game this year was Spider-Man.
That is a damn sure fact.
Amazing gameplay, amazing story, those interactive cinematics, the best.
I think Spider-Man is the first game all three of us got our plat on too.
Yeah, I'm still working on the DLC plat right now. I have to get the 100%.
I'm not getting 100%. I just want to get the platinum, honestly.
New game plus.
So, yeah, as we can all agree, Spider-Man was a fantastic game. So I have the 100% in the game, so I did all the DLC, I did New Game Plus. And unlike Far Cry 5, the DLC was actually pretty decent in Spider-Man. But the unfortunate thing is they pretty much took all of the really annoying, boring filler content from the base game that most people did not like, and they added that to the DLC.
Like the fucking crimes, man.
Yeah, so if you want to 100% the DLC, you're going to have to do
a lot of swinging around.
You're going to have to do, I think, 20 crimes per DLC. So you'll have to do another 60 crimes total through all the DLC. They added in the screwball challenges again, which, from what I've heard, I have not talked to a single person who actually enjoy those.
Yeah, the combat challenges are fun. But the stealth challenges, those are really fun too.
I enjoy the combat challenges and the gadget challenge. All the other shit.
If you play the second Spider-Man DLC, you're going to recheck that statement because the stealth screwball challenges were the worst challenges in all the DLCs.
Yeah, I don't doubt.
Yes. I think there were 2 of them you had to do, and it had the same concept as doing the stealth challenges from the base game, but they had these annoying cameras everywhere where if you were spotted, then you automatically failed, and you had to, like, you could shoot your web to kind of blind them for a short amount of time, but then if the web went away and then you can get spotted again, and you just automatically failed. And for the trophies, you had to get I think it was a spectacular or better, which is the middle tier of the 3 that you can get. So you had to get spectacular or better on all of them, which for the most part wasn't that hard. Of the 3 DLC, there were only a few that I had to actually like go through and do a second time. But yeah, from
the bomb ones are the hardest ones for me. I don't know.
Yeah, there were some bomb ones in the 3rd DLC. I don't think there were any and then also what they added in the 2nd and 3rd DLC that I don't think the first one had was more of those bases.
Bases?
Yeah, like the bases you had to go through. You had the 6 waves where you had to defeat all the enemies, and they got progressively harder with more advanced types of enemies.
Yeah, they had in the base game.
Yeah, but the first DLC I don't think added any other bases. But in the 2nd and 3rd DLC, they added some more of those bases that you had to do. So, yeah, so unlike Far Cry 5, the DLC was actually pretty decent in Spider-Man. You could tell they actually put some effort into it, and it actually flowed pretty well with the main game story. So I think they did a pretty good job overall. But also similarly to Far Cry 5, I don't know why Spider-Man got a New Game Plus option. I feel like with these, that's another trend I have not been a fan of. It seems like all of these open world games are getting added New Game Plus modes, which I feel like isn't necessary for these open world games, and developers are just throwing them in just to try and get people to come back and add replayability.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but overall, because they added a new difficulty as well, a new highest difficulty. I think it was called Ultimate. When you do that on New Game Plus, like it's really easy, and I feel like I had an easier time doing the hardest difficulty on New Game Plus than I did in the base game when I was on a lower difficulty.
I think one of the best things in Spider-Man, and it's just me because I'm a Marvel nerd, is the suits. Going back to seeing all the suits, I think I think it's pretty cool because I'm like I said, I'm a Marvel nerd.
Yeah.
And then like me knowing like what like multiverse is based in, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Honestly, I like it.
I like how they added like cartoon.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty fun.
Insomniac did a really good job with this game, and I knew they would because Ratchet and Clank. They did a really good job with the Ratchet and Clank remake back.
I just can't wait for the second one.
Finally figure out what happens to Harry Osborn. No spoilers, but
Yeah, I know when I was playing the DLC, like every time I finished the DLC, you would ask me, "Oh, do they talk about him?" Like, no, they didn't.
Well, I mean, they left it open for a second game. So,
Oh yeah,
like with Miles getting his powers and stuff like that.
is there a second game or like a extreme DLC?
yeah. They could make more of like a standalone type DLC, like they're doing with Far Cry, where it's not like a full game. But
Yeah,
it's not as small as DLC, so it's kind of like a big DLC standalone expansion type thing. Kind of like
yeah, they could do that. Yeah, they could.
like Uncharted Lost Legacy or Dishonored Death of the Outsider or Far Cry New Dawn. It could be something like that, I guess. I would prefer just a second game that's more full scale.
Yeah,
but they definitely left it open for something in the future.
that's what I like. I like when games do that. Like they leave it open for their second games. Like and this goes off topic, but my completely underrated opinion is that Call of Duty Ghost was a really, really fun game when it comes to the story mode. Like because at the end, one of the brothers gets dragged away, and so I feel like they left it for like a second game, so where he goes and try to find his brother, but they never did it because they got so much backlash about it. But hell, I was waiting for it. I mean, when it comes to like the multiplayer, it was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie, but like when it comes to the story mode was pretty fun. To be honest with you.
Yeah, Ghost doesn't seem to get too much hype, but yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Insomniac does in the future with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I prefer the Spider-Man 2. If it's more of a standalone DLC expansion, I'll take that. But I'm eager for some new content.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful.
There were some flaws in Spider-Man that I thought of, but overall, no, it was a visually stunning game. Story was fantastic, very engaging. Because sometimes in open world games like that, they don't always focus too much on the story because they know some people aren't there for the story. They just kind of want to roam the open world. But no, they did a really great job with engaging.
Yeah, but you could tell they put like a whole bunch of. You could tell they put like a lot of effort into all aspects of the game. I mean, like you said, when it came, like my opinion, like one of the things that I didn't like so much that it became like really button mashy sometimes.
Yeah, I feel that way too because I know a lot of people. What a lot of people when they talk about Spider-Man, they say how great the combat is, and I have mixed feelings about it because more or less the combat is really good and it's fluid. But personally, Spider-Man likes to throw a ton of enemies at you at one time and all different types of enemies where it was where you had to deal with all of them differently. Like you had the guys with the shield, so you had to like slide under them and punch them in the air, or the guys with like the batons that you had to punch in the air, and then you also had the guys with like the whips that would just drag you back down if you were in the air. So I just feel like, so as good as the combat was, they just threw so many different types of enemies at you at one time that it didn't feel very fluid.
Well, see, it meant to me when it comes to that, I feel like it's a sort of like a satisfactory thing when all those like enemies come at you and you beat them all. I like it.
Well, in that sense, yes, but I'm talking about more of kind of like with the button mashing you're talking about, like when they throw all these different types of enemies and a whole bunch of enemies at one time, it just seems like you're spending like 75% of the time you're mashing circle to dodge instead of actually being able to build up your combo. Well, the combo in Spider-Man is based on just how many hits you have without getting hit, but like it just seems like it's hard to build up your combo and get some good fluid combat going when you can get 2 hits in and then you have a guy with a rocket launcher shooting at you or a guy with a machine gun shooting at you. You just have to jump and button and keep pressing circle to dodge before you can get another couple hits in. So
I don't know how you're playing this, but I'm kicking. I'm like murdering these people.
I mean, I was too, but it was still annoying.
The secret to it is a lot of the gadgets that when I was talking to you about how you fight, you said you don't use gadgets as much. Shit, and I feel like
Well, I use gadgets. I haven't watched other people play, so I don't know if other people use gadgets excessively. But I use gadgets. My favorite was the electric web.
My favorite was the trip mine.
I'm pretty sure the only time I used the trip mine was when I was going for the trophy.
The trip mine was pretty fun.
I used the web bombs a few times, but I mainly just used the electric web. Another thing that I didn't like was they made it really hard to switch gadgets while you were in combat.
Yeah.
Especially when you're getting attacked by all these guys and you have to hold like L1 to bring up the wheel. So then like I would have to try and like quickly, because I think electric web was like on the very bottom. So I'd have to like, while I'm dodging all of these enemies, I had to quickly like tap L1 and press down to get to my electric web. And then sometimes it wouldn't happen. So then you're just like left standing there trying to figure out where it is. But yeah, I mean, most of the flaws that I see in Spider-Man are all minor ones. Nothing that like takes away from the big picture or really brings it down as a game. Because overall, it was, like we all mentioned, it was an amazing game.
I can't wait to see what they do with like Miles and his powers and Harry coming back. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so I think that wraps up pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. Is there anything else that either of you guys want to add about the games we talked about 2018 as a whole?
I think one of my runner-up games would probably be Destiny 2. Well, especially like the Forsaken part of Destiny 2. I really like Destiny. Like ever since I didn't play the first one, but ever since like I started playing the second one, because you guys Greg made me get it. It's really fun. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to.
All right, so I guess that wraps up this week's podcast. Next week, I'll probably talk about looking forward in 2019 and the games that I'm excited for and how I think 2019 is going to end up as a whole, and kind of like what we did with comparing 2018 to 2017. I'll probably make some predictions on how I think 2019 is going to compare to 2018. So be on the lookout for that. All right, so Jayson, where can our viewers find you? Any social media you'd like them to know about? Find you at?
You can subscribe to me on YouTube at King Prodigy. You can find me also on Twitter at King Pro 696. I go to my name 661870. And I don't really get on Instagram or Snapchat that much. So,
all right, Connor, is there anywhere that you want that our viewers can find you that you want them to know about?
I haven't said anything else.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter and YouTube at PiezillaGaming, and you can follow the official Twitter page for this podcast at the PP_podcast. Until next week, Piezilla out.